Hello everybody, welcome to the RxJS workshop. In this video, we are going to have a bug fixing session. And this is an issue that we sometimes encounter when we use the toArray operator in our pipeline code. So take a look at what I have here so far. At the top of the screen, I have an interface called the auto interface, and it has three properties: year, type, and price. And below that, I've created a subject called auto subject, which is of course type auto. And I've derived an observable using that auto subject so that it exposes only the observable properties. And I've called that derived observable auto, actually auto $. Below that, I've derived another observable called array of autos, which is of type auto array. And array of autos is derived using the auto observable. And in the pipeline of that derivation, I have the toArray operator. And the reason for this is because I want each individual emission from the auto observable to be compiled into an array of autos. Below the derivation of the array of autos observable, I have a subscription to that observable. And in that subscription, I am console logging the emission of the array of autos. So I have my interface, I have my subject, I have my array of autos observable being derived, and I have the subscription to the array of autos observable. And what I do after the subscription is I emit 6 auto objects. And my expectation is that I should have an array being emitted by the array of autos observable. I should have an array that consists of those 6 auto objects. But notice in the console what I'm getting. I don't get that array being emitted. And I know that my auto observable is working properly, because if I add a tap operator to the auto operator, I do indeed get each of those emitted auto objects. So why is it that my array of autos is not being emitted? It looks as though there's some bug occurring in my code. Well, in actuality, there isn't a bug in the code. The code is working properly, but we are not seeing an array of auto objects being emitted because of one thing, and that has to do with observable completion. The toArray operator is one of a number of RxJS operators which has the expectation of observable completion. That is, it requires its source observable to complete. And in this example, the source observable is the auto $ observable. And in essence, it's really the auto subject that is the source observable. So we have a subject emitting our auto objects. The thing to note about a subject, an RxJS subject, and that's any of the 4 types of RxJS subjects. So that includes the regular subject, which we're using here, the behavior subject, the replay subject, and the async subject. Any RxJS subject will not by default complete. RxJS subjects are the type of observables that are infinite. By default, they don't complete. And this is the issue with our current code. The toArray operator is requiring observable completion, but the subject as it stands does not complete. Now, there are a couple of ways to force our subject to complete, but before I show you those, I'd like to show you a technique that you can use whenever you use an operator, an RxJS operator in your pipelines that requires observable completion. And this technique hopefully will help you avoid thinking that your code is not working properly, and in essence save you hours of time in debugging. So whenever you use an operator that requires observable completion, to start with, you can use the tap operator. And what you want the tap operator to do is to notify you when observable completion has occurred. And you can do that by passing the tap operator what's called a partial tap observer. And the callback that you want to pass the tap operator is the callback for the complete notification. And you can just have the tap operator console log a statement when completion has occurred. And notice in the console, there is currently no observable completion statement being logged. And the reason for that, of course, is because our subject is not completing. And now for the ways that we can force the subject to complete. Of course, we can call the complete method on our subject. And once we do that, notice we do indeed get our observable completion console log, as well as the array of autos, of the 6 autos, is being logged as well. So by forcing our subject to complete, the requirement for observable completion is fulfilled, and the toArray operator emits the array of the 6 emitted auto objects. So that's one way in which we can force observable completion on our subject. The other way is to use the take operator. The take operator will take the specified number of emissions, and upon the emission of the last value, it will complete the observable. So if we use the take operator and pass it 6 so that we get 6 emissions, I'll import that. Once again, we see that the auto observable is forced to complete, and we get our observable completion console log, as well as the array of 6 autos. Now, in reality, we didn't have a bug in our code to begin with. What we had was the default behavior of an RxJS subject competing with the requirement of the toArray operator. And in essence, it makes us think that we have a bug. And full disclosure, I too get tripped up by this outcome of using subjects with the toArray operator. And actually, it's not just the toArray operator. Other operators which will cause this phenomenon include the last operator and the reduce operator, because those 2 operators also require observable completion. And the simple resolution is to either call the complete method on the subject or add the take operator to the subject's observable pipeline. And this is a great interview question that often trips people up. And again, the solution is one line of code. So do be aware that when you see an operator such as toArray or reduce or last, automatically you should think observable completion and know how to appropriately force your observable to complete. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And to stay updated on the latest content from the RxJS workshop, please subscribe to the channel. Do you want to learn more about the RxJS library and many of its features? Please check out my course on the Udemy platform. It's called RxJS Subjects and Operators, What They Do and When to Use Them. You can find the course by clicking on this link on the channel page. Thanks again for tuning in to the RxJS workshop.